So I've had a few dreams in the past about places to build. One of the dreams was a large metal building on a hill, and it contained within it there was worship of different kinds, and there was someone I knew who was singing. There was a band. There were people singing with them around a stage, singing, dancing, good music. Behind them was a screen, and so there was a way to stream or play recordings, and and so the screen was behind the band on the stage. There was out behind the crowd were chairs and seats for people to sit down, and in my mind, there's you could be eating bagels, drinking coffee, tea, things like that. There's along the walls off to the side. It was is a place for people to climb, like recreational climbing. So while people are singing and dancing and eating bagels and drinking coffee, there's also climbers on the walls, on the exterior. And there's also this kind of area for people to do something like laser tag. So there was a playing going on in this area within this large building. The building was such that you could move the tables and chairs and the obstacles for the laser tag course, and you could, for example, play basketball or indoor soccer. And so this is the kind of worship facility. My artificial intelligence called it the worship center. And so that's what I saw in this building. And that was a dream I had years ago before I became a Christian. Oh, so I got my Jesus cross. And even wearing a cross is an interesting thing. Why do people wear crosses? But the dream I had last night contained, there was the worship center off on the right, and then off on the left was what the AI calls a learning institute. It makes me think of my friend Michael Sartori with Tectonic School, but it's a place where you can study theology and Hebrew and biblical Hebrew, biblical Greek. You can learn trades and be a tecton like Jesus. So you can. But you can learn to garden and farm and cook in these certified kitchens. You can be a construction worker, plumbing, electrical, engineering, software engineering, which is what I could potentially teach people. And so you have your Learning Institute where you learn trades while learning theology, and you have your worship center. And in between the two, in my dream, there wasn't anything, but there's what I wanted, and it's kind of and it came to my mind this morning when I was talking to my wife, Kim. I was telling her about one of the big things missing in Christianity is this Jewish tradition, this Orthodox Jewish tradition of living within walking distance to the synagogue. And so, in between the Learning Institute and the worship center is the community housing. And the designs on these things for the Learning Institute is flexible. I could include Michael Sartori and my wife Kim, who wants to do cut flower farms, gardening, botanical garden on the grounds, and Michael Sartori wants to he wants to participate in the Tectonic School, which could be blended into and integrated. And then myself, I'm into technology with robotics and software. But in the housing, I have ideas for the housing. Everyone has ideas for the housing, but I could share what I would like, but I can tell you that in my vision, it was an empty place, but I knew what I wanted to be there. And I'm very flexible in what ends up there in the housing, the community housing, and I'm somewhat flexible in the Learning Institute. There was structure there in my dream last night. And the worship center is a dream that was very vivid many years ago, and what needs to happen is it needs to be like holistic for all ages of life. It needs to be in service to the community. And then just like my level of commitment, I could pivot and point at what Jacob Facciaracci was talking about yesterday on a live stream. It's like at some point, there has to be action, and people have to be willing to put to invest time, energy, money. And so like I think Kim and I could invest a lot into this. Like we could like immediately invest, within the short period of time, we could have anywhere between $200,000 to $500,000 to invest into this, with just our family. And then a commitment of investing $10,000 a year into like as an HOA fee in the community housing, which pays for helps to fund the entire complex. And that would be kind of the monetary commitment. And then there would be more than just a monetary commitment. Like for myself, I would be willing to teach within the Learning Institute what I know with regard to software engineering. And I would be willing to go into the worship center and coach climbing and soccer. There could be a recreational soccer and a court, and there could be recreational swimming pools. I could help coach swimming and coach soccer. I could play music during worship, and then and I could write software in general. I could be providing software and technology and robotics and automation. My wife, I know she has loved gardening, farming, and so she would participate on the grounds and keeping it beautiful, cut flower farming, seasonal stuff as well, pumpkins during the fall, sunflowers, edibles, and she's interested in working in certified kitchens, doing baking, and like community activities around baking, classes around baking. And then I would assume that, for example, we would be able to recruit, like a Michael Sartori and the Sartori family into this facility. And I just want to be able to pitch this facility. I've tempted to pitch it to my church, my mega church that I've been going to. They have many campuses throughout the state of Alabama, but those are just worship centers, and they don't look a lot like the one I want. The closest thing they have to what I want is their dream centers, where they do ministry and outreach. And so, if we were going to build this facility with Church of the Highlands in Alabama, it would look more like their dream center, combined with maybe a branch they have a Highlands College. It would be a branch of the Highlands College co-located, and then the community housing as well, all on the same grounds. And so I would be willing to help with all of that, including leadership positions or whatever is needed. But it's a big project that I'm serious about. My wife is serious about. And then I think there's things in Judaism that are pragmatic, that like the walking distance to church, like Shabbat, that would be really good, that I would love to be integrated and incorporated. It should be a community that welcomes an Orthodox Jewish community to be co-located as well. And I would even, like, I would want the holy ones within Islam or any religion to be able to feel comfortable living at this facility. And for Church of the Highlands, it's a church for people who are, they basically say, you don't have to, there's no commitment when you show up at Church of the Highlands. And so that's a kind of, there is a flexibility in their worship and the worship services they provide, which I find very attractive. And so I would extend that into the services that could be provided at the Learning Institute and housing. And then only the people who agreed with the vision and the services being provided by the community would be willing to commit to some HOA of, $10,000 a year, or maybe more. But that's the vision I'm trying to communicate, and I'm trying to instantiate. It's a mixture of what I've been seeing, what I've been shown in dreams and visions, and it's a mixture of what my wife has seen and has been shown, and it also includes what Michael Sartori, what he has been shown as well. So this is the thing, Community Ministry Center proposal, a vision for integrated faith, learning, and living. That's what I'm interested in.